Welcome to the Data and RD channel. Here you are listening the audiobook. The book name is The 5 AM Club, written by Robin Sharma. Today we will exploring the chapter 13. The 5 AM Club learns the 2020 formula early in the morning when you are reluctant in your laziness to get up. Let this thought to be at hand. I am rising to do the work of the human being Marcus Aurelius, Roman Emperor. Rome is my veins. Its energy courses through my blood, and it's a unique type of magic resets my spirit. Thought the billionaire as his jet taxied along the tarmac of the city private airport. The song Magnolia by Italian music group Negrita pulsed through the speaker of the aircraft as the tycoon swayed his taut soldiers to the beat. The fierce pride, fantastic passion, and the glorious heart of the Roman inspire me so much. He affirmed to himself, the way light falls on the Trinita di Monte, the church that crowns the Spanish steps, never failed to lift my soul, and often brings tears into my eyes. The exquisite food, including the mozzarella di bufala, casio e pepe, amatriciana, and carbonara, along with the fire-cooked agvasio feeds, and desire to maximize the enjoyment of my love. The painstakingly handcrafted architectures in the open-air museum of the air of the city, where I love to walk in the rain, speaks to both the warrior as well as the poet within me. The magnet reflected as his jet neared the gate. The billionaire had spent many of my finest years of his fantastic thought far from perfect life in Rome, staying at an apartment in the historical center on Via Vittoria. Juris and his other homes were the place he goes mostly to work on a projects and manage his global commercial pursuit. But Rome was to fuel his sense of awe and to nourish his appetite of joy. Inhaling the fragrance of gardens at springtime and talking long tracks past an temple that sits at the lake in the park called Villa. Vargese were two of his favorite things in life. Rising at 5 a.m. before Rome, dense traffic could stifle some of its magnificence, and riding his mountain bike past the Trevi fountain, up to the Monte and by the Colosseum, and finally over to Pisa Navona to just sit and embrace the marvelousness of the church in that exalted square reminded him of the brilliance that only early morning brings. Much more than his wealth, such experience made him feel prosperous and alive. You should know that the greatest love of his life hailed from Rome. The billionaire met her in an English bookstore just off Via di Condotti, the fabulous street where Italy's iconic fashion house have their flagship stores. Though he was in his late 30s, the Italian was still a bachelor at the first encounter, something of the playboy, and a man known for his taste in the finer pleasure of the world. He still remembered the book he sought her help to find, Jonathan Livingstone Seagull by Richard Bach, that wonderfully transformation novel about a seagull who knew he was made to fly higher than the flock and embarked on an unforgettable journey to make that inner knowing real. Vanessa put her hands on a copy quickly, was exceedingly polite yet frustratingly aloof, and then moved on to the help another customer. It took the billionaires over a year of visiting that compared bookshop with books arranged on old wooden shelves that lined the time-worn walls for this young woman to agree to have dinner with him. The billionaire's quest was driven by her under the radar kind of beauty, her ardent intelligence, her bohemian personal style, and her awkward laugh that made him feel as happy as family of bees in a Hugh honey pot. They were married in the enchanting seaside town of Monopoli in the southern Italian region of the Puglia. What a special day that was! The baron mused wistfully. The music that rang through the main square as well as all danced with wild abandon under the melting glow of full moon. The farm fresh burrata cheese, the orecchiette pa- the orecchiette pasta made by the chef's grandmother. The townspeople joining the lively party, displaying their bundless Italian hospitality by bringing bottles of homemade Nagro, Nagromaro Primitivo wine as wedding gifts. The whole experience still touched him considerably. The billionaire's relationship with Vanessa had been both sensational and volatile, as in many epic love stories, sometimes, often actually, intense romantic connection rises deep rooted pain. But that as special persons, we finally feel safe to take off our social armor and show our truest selves. And so they get to see us in a fullness of our wonder, passion, and light. Yet that also brings intense glimpses of the shadow side as well as we all have. The side that develops from the hurts we have had. As we have lived in the Prophet Khalil Gibran wrote, when love beckons to you, follow him. Through his ways are hard and steep. Through the sword hidden among his pinions way wound you. Though his voice may shatter your dreams as the north wind lays waste the garden. All these things shall love do unto you to you, so that you may know the secret of your heart. Yet, despite the turbulent nature of their marriage, the billionaire and his status quo wife made it work for decades. Though she had passed away suddenly many years earlier, he never remarried. He wouldn't allow himself to fall in love again, preferring to concentrate on growing his business empire, expanding his philanthropic pursuits, and enjoying the genuinely lovely life he had earned alone. The Mughal took out his wallet and slowly removed a creased photograph of Vanessa. He started at it, transfixed by the image. Then he started coughing again vigorously. You okay, boss? Inquired one of the pilots from the cockpit. The billionaire remained silent, looking at the photo. The entrepreneur and the artist had flown to Rome a few days earlier and had been mesmerized by the sights, splendor, and rarities of the eternal city. With hands locked together, taking in energy and beauty of Rome, they traversed and cobblestone streets previously walked by great builders and noble emperor. Today was the day they had waited a long time for. This morning they had learned the 2020 formula that rested at the core of the 5M method. The two students would be taught with granularity precisely what to do within the victory hours, that window of opportunity that runs between 5 and 6 a.m. So they'd consistently enjoy amazing days. Today they would discover in intimate details how to use their morning well to create a world class existence. As requested by the billionaire, the two stood at very top of Spanish steps. It was precisely 5 a.m. If you stood on the platform under the obelisk that's there and looked down to the steps beneath it, you'd see that exact spot where the mentor and his two students met on this morning. The first rays of the Roman sun kissed Trinita di Monte as the lovers looked out over this city of such culture. The early Romans were remarkable for the grandeur of their vision, for the scale of their buildings, and for their otherworldly ability to construct monuments that betrayed engineering reality. The two of them could see St. Peter Basilica and the tomb of Emperor Augustus, as well as the seven hills that were so central to the protection of the empire that began as a tiny village on the banks of the Tiber River and grew to what now included 40 different countries Spanish, Europe, Asia, and Africa. There was fragrant with a blend of floral notes and a smokiness, as if a fire were burning in the far distance. Buongiorno, cried a voice amid the tranquility. Own your morning, elevate your life. The billionaire shouted with the kind of enthusiasm you'd hear from Rome soldiers on achieving a crucial victory. Mr. Riley walked into a first embers of the light fall, smiling a man in the magic of life type of a smile. He had chosen to wear a pair of chic Italian sunglasses for this all important coaching session. He also wore an Italian windbreakers over a black t shirt with the initial SPQR emblazoned on it. Black sweatpants, and orange running shoes. Tuto beans, he asked cheerfully. We are good, said the entrepreneur, happily understanding a few words of Italian. Really good, offered the artist. Big day cats today lesson to be taught to you by me. Your cheese gulping tonali pasta gobbling mentor is all about the 2020 formula. We are finally here. We are finally ready to calibrate your morning routine so you both materialize your promise for genius and lead a life of limitless joyfulness. You will so love what you about to hear. The rest of your life will never be the same, the illustrious industrialist declared. As the sun slowly ascended for the first time, a tattoo could be seen on the back of the billionaire's left hand. It had numbers on it. They simply read 2020. The rays of the light congregated over his head to give the appearance of a halo. The entire scene was eternal. You would have been impressed. Is that new? Wondered the artist, showing a clear curiosity. Didn't notice it before. Yup, responded the tycoon. I had someone in trust trustworthy trustworthy to do it for me last night. Cold, right? Spoke the billionaire, appearing as innocent as a newborn. Sort of. Pronounced the artist as he let out a monstrous yawn, then sipped from a takeaway's cup of coffee. Great coffee here in Italy, he added. Well, the tattoo is temporary, admitted the billionaire. I got it because today the 2020 Formula Days. It really is one of the most important of all our training days together. I feel blessed to be here with you too. I'm starting to feel we are family now, and to be back in Rome is so incredibly special. I stopped coming here after my wife, Vanessa, passed away. I just hurt too much to be here without her. He confessed before looking away. Stone Riley then dug into a pocket of his sweatpants and pulled out a wishbone. He carefully placed the object of one of the steps that had series of mysterious drawing on it. Just so you know what it looked like. It looked like this. The billionaire asked his two guests to make a wish. before instructing them to pull it apart as a sign of good luck. I brought this to our session this morning not only to create even more great vibes for you cats, continued the billionaire. I also want you both to remember that a wishbone without a backbone doesn't really get you very far, he explained. Sort of the part time commitment delivers part time results insights we learned earlier, queried the artist. And no idea works without doing the work inside. Re-informed the entrepreneur as he did a yoga stretch into the increasing sun. Sort of, replied the billionaire. I know you both long to lead productive, excellent, happy, and meaningful lives. Being a member of the 5M Club truly is the one habit of all possible habits that will guarantee this mighty ambitions comes true. It's a single finest practice I've ever encountered to translate the intentions of living gloriously into an every reality. Yes, dreams and desires are just wish bones. Rising before day breaks is your backbone to get them done. The power of getting up early really comes from the daily applications of the 2020 formula. The magnet continued, and you are now just a few seconds away from being exposed to this astonishingly potent morning routine. It really is about time, said the artist as he put on his own green lensed sunglasses to shield his eyes from the light which was now beginning to wash into the empty space around the Spanish steps and down onto the cobblestone square that features a famous fountain built around Bernini sculpture of an old boat. Give me a hug before we get going, people, bellowed the billionaire affectionately as he embraced the artist, the entrepreneur. Welcome to my beloved Roma. He added the song Come and Pittori by the group of Mora began to play from an open window of a nearby apartment. A curtain hung out of it, flirting with a soft breeze. Okay, let's rock this piece. Please know that your creativity, productivity, prosperity, performance, and usefulness are to the world as well as the quality of your private life won't transform by simple rising at 5 a.m. alone. It's not just rising early that makes this regime so powerful. It's what you do over the 60 minutes after you wake up that makes the 5 a.m. club so game changing. Remember this, your victory hours give you one of the life's greatest windows of opportunity. As you now know, the way you start your day dramatically influences how it unfolds. Some people get up early but destroy the value of their morning routine by watching the news, surfing online, scanning social feeds, and checking messages. I'm sure you both understand that such behavior comes from the need for a quick pleasures rush of dopamine, an escape from what is truly important. This way of acting causes members of the majority to miss out on doing the things that would allow them to leverage the quietude of this special time to help them maximize greatness. So awesome days show off consistently, and as we create each day so we craft our life right, asserted the artist, confirming a key piece of information he'd learned on the beach of the billionaire oceanfront compound, that the day's stacking foundation, and it's one of the four focus of history makers that you explained to us. I still remember that model. Absolutely correct, applauded the billionaire. And I need to say that the beginning your day intelligently, healthily, and peacefully isn't only about optimizing your public and private success. It's also about protecting it. Suddenly, a man driving a horse carriage and dressed as a gladiator, gladiators rolled through the square known as a Pizza di Spagna and shouted, Buongiorno, Mr. Raleigh, then continued on his way. A dopo, replied the billionaire loud enough for the man to hear. Gnarly custom right, he said to his student. The billionaire rubbed his fake tattoo and looked towards the close, Colosseum. That man we just saw makes me think of the Auriga, a type of self in ancient Rome, who would transport important Roman leaders and was chosen for his trustworthiness. Here's the neat things. Another key job of the Origa was to stand behind the military general known as Dux and whisper the words memento homo carefully into his ear as he placed the laurel crown on his head. What does that mean? Asked the entrepreneur. Today, she dressed in faded jeans, a bright red t-shirt with a V-neck and white running shoes. Her hair was styled in a ponytail that she liked. She had her bracelets on and she absolutely radiated optimism. Memento homo is Latin for remember you are only a man. The billionaire answered. The Auriga did this to keep the leaders' arrogance in check and to help the leaders manage the inevitable invitations to egotism that all great success inescapably brings. The ritual was a profound discipline to ensure the ducks remained monomaniacally focused on his true missions of making himself the empire he ruled. Even better, not diluting all his energies on the amusements and excesses that cause dynastic, dynasties to fall. You know that indicated the artists. I have seen some artistic geniuses blow up their creative empires and destroy their good reputation because they didn't manage their success properly. So I hear you. Def said the entrepreneur. I mean, definitely, she quickly corrected as she collapsed the hand of collapsed the hand of her new boyfriend. I have seen so many rocket ship companies lose their market share because they fell in love with their winning formula. They lost their fire, they got bloated and cocky. They bought into faulty beliefs that because there were long lines ups for their excellent products, there would always be long lines ups even without iterating their goods, improving customer services, and ensure that very single employees continue to rise their leaders' safe performance. So I hear you too, Mr. Riley. Awesome was his one word reply. As you reply the 2020 formula, always remember to keep improving the way you run it each morning. Stay hungry, keep a white belt mentality around it because nothing feels like success. Once you experience how transformational the practice is, it will be easy to start costing and maybe even neglecting a few steps of the process. The billionaire touched an index fingers down to one of the steps. He closed his eyes and quietly recited these words. It's time to stop being a fugitive from your highest self and accept membership into a new order of ability, bravery, and understanding of the call on your lives to inspire humanity. He then walked across the stone platform atop the Spanish steps and raised two fingers of his right hand to show universal sign for peace. Next, he waved an arm in the direction of man on a seat heating up chestnuts in Pisa di Spanga, near of the foot of Via di Condotti. The man wore a grey shirt that had wrinkled over the chest area, navy blue trousers, and yellow running shoes. On seeing the sign, the man immediately stood up and darted through the square up the steps, three at a time, all the way to the peak where the billionaire was stationed. He lifted his rumpled shirt, revealing the bulletproof vest, and pulled out the laminated sheets of paper from beneath it. Here you go, Grey Grandi. Good to see you back in Roma, boss. The man spoke with a rich Italian accent and a voice as gritty as sandpaper. Grazie mille, molto gentile, Adriano. The billionaire said as he kissed the palm of the hand before extended it for a handshake. Adreno's on my security team, noted Mr. Riley while studying the piece that had been presented to him. He is one of my best. He grew up in the town of Alva in the Piemonte region of this exceptional nations. You cats like Tartufo. What's that? Queried the artist, looking a little confused by scenarios that had just played out. Truffles, baby, enthused the billionaire. My goodness, they taste incredible. On tang- tagliolini, pasta with melted butter drizzled over it, or when grated over jiggly fried eggs. My food of the emperor emperors it is. The billionaire's eyes were as wide as prairie while he imagined the meal he was describing. A razor thin line of dull meandered out of the right corner of his mouth. Yes, a line of drool beyond weird right. And Adriano, who had remained in position, discreetly handed his employer a handkerchief. He looked at the entrepreneur and the artist with a glance that seemed to say, I know he is strange, but we love him too. And then all four people perched upon that overwhelmingly alluring seat started to laugh together. Have a great morning, boss, Adriano said as he prepared to leave. I'll meet you in Test, Testaccio this evening. Thank you so much for inviting me to eat with you tonight. Are we eating Casio e Pepe as usual? See, confirmed the billionaire. A presto? Alva is where white truffles comes from, explained the billionaire. Specially trained dogs sniff them out, or pigs. Maybe in the futures I'll take you guys on the truffle hunt with me. I promise you it'll be unforgettable. Any who have a look at this fantastic learning model. The spellbinder actually deconstructed the victory hours, the 2020 formula for us. Zero question about how to run your morning's routines now. No rooms for excuses. It's all laid out for you. Just run the play and you will own your days. Procrastination is an act of self hatred, you know. Really? Asked the artist. Absolutely. If you really loved yourself, you'd relinquish all your feelings of not being good enough to be great and renounce all slavery to your weakness. You would stop focusing on your deficiencies and celebrate your amazing quality. Just think about it. There's a no person on the planet today who has the unique stake of gifts that you have. Actually, in all of history, there's never been even one person exactly like you, and there's never will be. Yes, you are that special, that's an indisputable fact. So embrace the full force of your lavish talent, luminous strength, and breathtaking power. Let's go off the destructive habit of breaking the commitments you make to yourself. Failing to keep self promises is one of the reasons so many of us don't love ourselves. Not following through on what we tell ourselves will do so destroy our sense of personal worth and resolves our self esteem. Keep behaving like that, and the unconscious part of you will begin to believe you are not worth anything. And remember the psychological phenomenon known as the self fulfilling prophecy I walked you through earlier. We always perform in a way that is aligned with the way we see ourselves. And so our thinking creates our results, and the less we value ourselves and our powers, he went on, the less power we have access to. The billionaire watched a group of butterflies fly by before continuing. That's just the way it all works. So my suggestion is that you stop putting things off, flex those willpower muscles we talk about inside the Taj Mahal, and make the reminder of your life an exercise in audacity, a testimony to exceptional productivity, and a rare expression of unstained beauty. Honor all you truly are by living your genius instead of loathing yourself. By denying your specialness, procrastination is an act of self hatred. The billionaire repeated. So, really go all in one, installing the 20-20-20 formula as core way of managing your morning. The billionaire showed the framework to the entrepreneur and the artist it looked like. The 20-20 formula deconstructions. Pocket 1, the 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. 5:20 a.m. Move. What? Intense exercise, sweat hard, learn, hydrate, breathe deeply. Why? Cleanness, cortisol, BDNF flows, dopamine rises, serotonin increase, metabolism elevate. Benefit: more focus, productivity, focus, brain optimization, energy grows, less stress, live longer. Pocket 2, 5:20 a.m. to 5:40 a.m. Reflections. What? Journals, meditate, plan, pray, contemplate. Why? Gratitude boosted, awareness soars, happiness life, wisdom develops, serenity expands. Benefits: greater positivity, decreased reactivity, higher creativity, stronger performance, richer life. Pocket 3, 5:40 a.m. to 6 a.m. Grow. Review goes, read books, consume audiobook, listen to podcast, study online. Why? 2 into 3x mindset, knowledge deepens, acumen escalates, confidence accelerates, master changes. Benefits: better income impact, craft calibrates, dopamine dominance, personal growth, inspirations rises. As you can see from this learning model, there are 320 minutes pocket to install and then practice to master level. The first 20 minutes pocket of the 20-20 formula requires that you move, simply put, doing some sweaty exercise. First things every morning will revolutionize the quality of your days. Second pocket encourages you to reflect for 20 minutes. This segment is designed to help you recess your natural power, boost self awareness, dissolve your stress, fuel your happiness, and restore your inner peace in an era of acute overstimulation and excessive activities. And you will round out this 60-minute victory hours of personal fortifications with 20 minutes centered around ensuring that you grow, whether that means investing some time reading a book that will improve your understanding of how the best lives were made, or an articles that will refine your personal prowesses, or listening to an audio sessions on how the vir- virtuous accomplish their unusual results, or watching an educational video that will show you how to lift your relationship, or increase your finances, or deepen your spirituality. As you cats now know, the leaders who learn the most wins. One of the most helpful things I ever learned from the spellbinder was that starting my morning with a strong workout, pretty much right after I jumped out of bed, was of the utmost importance. I still remember these actual words and they were firm. You must begin your days with intense exercise. This is non negotiable, otherwise, the 2020 formula won't work. And I'll take back you membership in the 5 a.m. club. Three doves flew over the billionaire. He eyed them with a gant grin, blew a kiss to one, and then advanced his discourse on the morning routine of history makers. Training rigorously first things in the morning is a total game changer. Moving vigorously shortly after you get up will generate an alchemy in your brain based on its neurobiology, which will not only wake you up fully but electrify your focus and energy, amplify and your self discipline, and launch your days in a way that makes you feel on fire. Now, to be ultra practical for you too, I'll say that your workout could mean taking a spinning glass or performing a bunch of jumping jacks and burpees, or skipping like pro boxers love to do, or doing wind sprints. Not sure that will work best for you. The real key here is though is to make sure you sweat. Why, asked the artist, now taking copious notes, for the reason you will see on the diagram. As you know now, cortisol is hormone of fear. It's made in the cortex of the adrenal glands and is then released into the blood. Cortisol is one of the main materials that stunts your genius and devastates your implicit opportunity to make history. Very good scientific data confirms that your cortisol levels are highest in the morning. Fascinating information observed by the entrepreneur as he performed another stretch in the Roman sunshine. Yes, it is. So exercising from 5 to 5:20 a.m. for just 20 minutes will signify lower your cortisols and therefore dial you into your top performance. Fantastic way to start a morning right. Science has also shown there's a vital link between physical fitness and cognitive ability. The sweating from a powerful workout releases BDNF, brain derived neurotrophic factor, which supercharges that organs for a winning day. Wow, said the entrepreneur, also taking notes at a furious pace. VDNF has been shown to repair brain cells damaged by stress and accelerate the formation of neural connections, so you think better and process faster. Expounded the billionaire, another gargantum competitive advantage for sure. Oh, and it also promotes neurogenesis, so you'll actually grow new brain cells. What that's alone worth to you. War times two, shouted the artist, sounding very corny versus displaying any hint of cool. My business will be touchable, and I personally will become unbeatable as I execute on all these ideas you are so generously sharing with us. Offered by the entrepreneur, modeling what said seen Mr. Relay do when others had been kind to him. She performed a slight bow that show her appreciations. Absolutely, agreed the billionaire. And by exercising intensely during the first 20 minutes pocket of the 2020 formula, you will also release the dopamine, which you well know is the neurotransmitter of drive, along with elevating your amounts of serotonin, the wonderful chemical that regulates happiness. This means that by 5:20 a.m., while your competitors are counting sheep, you are already amped to lead your field, achieve excellent results, and make the day ahead epic. Wouldn't it be possible for you to be specific about what we need to do in order to make sure we are up with the sun? Requested the entrepreneur. I mean, can you get into a little bit of detail about what behaviors we must perform so we actually get out of bed when that alarm clock goes off? I hope that's not a dumb question. Is that too basic? It's a great question, said the artist as he stroked his girlfriend's back. It's a fabulous question, exclaimed the tycoon. And sure, like I have suggested, buy an old school alarm clock. That's what I use. As I said in Agra, you never want to sleep with any technology in your bedroom. I'll explain why soon. Once you have your alarm clock, advance the time on in from the actual time to 30 minutes ahead. Then set the alarm for 5:30 a.m. Really indicated the artist. That seemed odd. I know, admitted the billionaire, but it works like magic. You trick yourself into thinking you are getting up later, but you are actually rising at yourself into thinking you are getting up later, but you actually rising at 5 a.m. This tactic just worked, so do it next. And this sound obvious, but it's another key hacks. As soon as the alarm goes off, bolt out of bed before your weaker self sucks you into all the reasons to stay in bed. Before your rational mind can comes up with the reasons to remain under the covers. You just need to make it through that 60-60 habit installations process so that wakes up at 5 a.m., reaches the automaticity point, and it becomes easier to get up early than sleep later. When I first joined I the 5 a.m. club, I slept in my workout clothes. Mr. Rayleigh looked slightly impressed. Then more dopes, the butterflies passed by, and the wisp of the rainbow could be seen spreading across the Spanish steppes. You are kidding me, brother, right? Laughed the artist as he twirled a deadlock. You really slept in your exercise gears? I did, admitted the billionaire, and my running shoes were laid out right next to my bed. I did whatever it took to eliminate the death grips that common excuses could have over me. The entrepreneur was nodding. She appeared stronger and happier as each day passed. Anyway, let me keep jamming on the point about exercising first things in your morning. By working out intensely, you will stimulate that natural pharmacy of mastery will make you feel fundamentally different than when you first woke up. The way you feel when you first wake up really isn't the way you will feel only 20 minutes later at 5:20 a.m. When you run this strategy, the bulletproof your neurobiology and bulletproof your psychology. Please remember that obviously the sweaty moment also transform your psychology over time. Even if you are unusually non-morning person, grumpy at the beginning of your days, you will change. The whole neurons that fire together, wire together things. You will feel the confidence every leaders without a title needs. You will have the focus to stay on task for hours and hours so you get your most brilliant work done. You will feel much calmer. See the boost in norepinephrine that fierce morning activity generates not only improve your attention, it leaves you feeling significantly more serene. And more good research proves that exercise regulates the amygdala in the limbic system, the ancient brain we discussed is in an earlier class at my beach in the Mauritius, so that you responses to stimuli ranging from a hard project or difficult client to rude drivers or screaming baby are much more graceful instead of hysterical. Pretty marvelous benefit, remarked the entrepreneurs. You are right, Mr. Riley. I couldn't put a price tag on having all these weapons of mass productivity in my arsenal. Precisely said the billionaire as he hugged the entrepreneur. I do love you too. He added, I will miss you both. In that moment, the mentor usual hopefulness shifted into some unknown sadness. Our time together is coming to an end. Maybe we'll meet again. I really hope so, but I don't know. His voice trailed off and he looked away again. Up the white church that stood behind where they had gathered. A glorious tribute to the brightest example of visionary architectures, the billionaire reached into a pocket of his black sweatpants and pulled out a pill, popping it into his mouth like a child consuming a tiny piece of candy. Anyhow, as you can also see on the deconstructions, he went on holding up the model. Working out first things in the morning also elevates your metabolism and it fuels the fat burning engines of your body so you burn any excess more efficiency and lean out more quickly. Another valuable triumph, right? Oh, as you optimize your fitness, you will set yourself up to stay healthy your entire lifetime. Train harder, live longer is a smart motto I built my empires by. You now know that one of the keys to legendary is longevity. Do not die. You can't own your game and change the world if you are pushing up disease in a cemetery. The titan of industry articulated energetically. The primary point that I am trying to offer on the first part of this calibrated versus superficial morning protocol is essentially this. Your life will feel and work 100 times better when you are in the finest physical conditions you have ever been in. Sweaty exercise as your first move after rising with the sun really is a total life changes. Period. So do whatever it takes to core in this habit. Whatever it takes, cats. Can I ask you another question, Mr. Raleigh? The entrepreneur asked politely. Go for it, said the billionaire. What if want to exercise for a longer than 20 minutes? Totally cool, noted the billionaire. This morning routine isn't written in stone like those words carved into that obelisk up there. He added as he pointed up to the monument sitting on a small platform just above the Spanish steps. Take all I am sharing and then make it yours. Customize it to fit your preferences and make it bespoke to suit your lifestyle. The billionaire inhaled the fresh breath of Rome air, the same air the emperor, gladiators, statesmen, and craftspeople breathed a thousands years ago. Just imagine breathing that air and standing there with these three fascinating members of the 5M Club. This brings me to be the second 20 minutes pocket of the 2020 formula that you need to run over your victory hours. The time between 5:20 and 5:40 am is when you reflect. When what exactly do you mean by reflect? Asked the artist, exemplifying his newfound confidence in being a great student. He rubbed his goatee as he voiced the questions. His arm rested around the entrepreneur's shoulders. I have been suggesting during our time together managing your morning well is a main skill of exceptionalist. Using front end of your day expertly is such a key determinant of business imminence and a personal magnificence. And one of the cleverly granulated morning routines is a period of deep peace, some quietude and solitude for yourself before the complexity starts arriving and your family needs your energy and all your others responsibilities take over. Tranquility is a new luxury of your our society. So during this segment of your victory hours, savor some stillness, contemplate how you are living and on who you hope to become. Be thoughtful and intentional on the values you want to be loyal over the hours ahead of you and how you wish to behave. Consider what to happen for this to be a great day amid the construction of the legendary life. This pocket will be super important to me, remarked the entrepreneurs as her bracelet clinked together. One of them was shiny and new. It bore the phrase, all these early morning will make me an icon someday. I agree with you, expressed the billionaire, reflecting on what's most important to a life beautifully lived will leave you with what the spellbinder calls residual wisdom throughout the rest of the day. For example, thinking quietly about the weighty value of the purely producing work that represents mastery or remembering your commitment to treating people kindly and respectfully during the second pocket re-anchors those virtues within your awareness. And so, as you experience the reminder of your day, the resides the residue of your reconnections with this wisdom stay in focus, refusing every single moment and guiding each one of your choices. Another butterfly fleeted by. Three more soon followed the first, almost poetically. The billionaire decided to deepen his explanations on reflections, but first popped another pill. He put a hand on his heart and looked at the sensational view of Rome. The way the light falls here really is like nowhere else. He thought, I'll miss you, my Roma. The billionaire started down the steps at the white boat sculpted by Pietro Berni and then glanced at the flower shop, also in the square below. In so many ways, reflections is main source of transformation. Because once you know better, you definitely can do better. During this 20-minute segment of the victory hours, all you need to do is get serenity. Stay silent, enter the stillness. What a gift you will give yourself in this era of such a scattered attentions, worry, and noisiness. That would be a gained gift to give to myself and to my business. Acknowledge the entrepreneur. I'm realizing I spent so much of my time doing the and reacting and so little of my time deliberating and planning. You have talked about how great one's leverage periods of isolations. I have read the many famous genius had a habit of sitting in solitude for hours with nothing more than a pad of papers and pen of capturing the insights that would start flashing across the screen of their imaginations. Yes, commented the billionaires, developing a tremendous imagination is highly important portal into a celebrated fortune. One of the things that makes the historical sites here in Rome so special is sheer size of the structures. What vision and confidence the Romans who created them must have had, and what skills to have turned the ideas into something real. My point is that every single one of the sensational edifices in the eternal city is the product of the imagination of the human being properly used. So yes, you should also use the reflections pocket to invent, visualize and dream. 20 years from now, a quote I think comes from the Mark Twain says, you will be a more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones once you did so. So throw off the blow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore dreams, discover. All great artists dreams the about a future's few beliefs in possible is possible. Started the artist sagely. Yup, noted the billionaires. Another tactic you can practice at this time is to write out what the spellbinder calls a pre-performance blueprint. This is simply a written statement of your ideas they had. Research confirm that pre-commitment strategies work beautifully to increase your focus and discipline to get things done. You will have a clear and calibrated script for your day ahead so it unfolds the way you want it to. Of course, nothing in business and life is perfect. Still, that doesn't mean we shouldn't do our best to pursue it. The heroic women and men of the world were all perfectionists. They were maximizers, immensely obsessed with being remarkable at all they did. So take at least 10 minutes of write out your perfect days. The Mogul peered over at the flower shop again. He raised his left index finger up to the Roman sky. The volcanically attractive young woman with high cheekbones, tortoises, tortoiseshell glasses, a grey lines blouse, and fashionable trousers stood up, holding a metal attache case. She then sprinted up the steps like a cheetah chasing its dinner. Hi, Vina, said the billionaire. She arrived. Self, Mr. Riley replied, young woman respectfully. We are delighted to see you back in Rome, sir. I have your items. The ad entered to code into the lock and the case sprung open. Inside were three luxurious crafted journals bound by most supple Italian leather. The billionaire handed one of the entrepreneur and one of the artists. He lifted the last one, sculpted it close to his heart and licked it. Yes, he actually licked his journal. When we are at a magical vineyard of South Africa, I'll explain why I just ran my tongues over my diary. The billionaire enthused with ever increasing mystery. South Africa quizzed the artist loudly. When are we going? Magical vineyards queried the entrepreneurs. The billionaire ignored them both. You are good, Veena, spoke the billionaires to his assistant. Really good. See, vediamo dopo, he added as he walked down the ancient steps and hopped onto the back of the black scooter that had been waiting for her. Before it raced away, as the entrepreneur and the artist opened their journals, they saw a carefully detailed framework on the first page. Another learning diagram for us, asked the artist in a grateful tone. She noted the billionaires. Brother, I love these models, the artist said. Priceless teachings, tools to make confusing concepts incredibly clear. And relevant, added the entrepreneur. Clearly breeds mastery, right? Truth, affirmed the industrialist. And you are welcome, cats, but it's been the spellbinder who has invested decades of his rich life creating these frameworks to explain the philosophy and methodology of the 5M Club. They look simple because it's taken him his entire professional lifetime to handcraft them. It takes long years of extreme attention and ardent isolations to strip away the complexities of any work to reach the simplicity that sits at touchstone of genuine genius. It's like when an amateur looks at the masterpiece. It looks simple because he doesn't comprehend the expertise of the masters in taking away all that was unnecessary. Removing the non-essences to produce the gems takes years of dedications and decades of devotions, making things look simple to untrained eyes is a mark of maestro. The learning model in the lavish leather journal look like this, just so you have a clear sense of what the three companions saw on that sunny morning in Rome. The journaling habit, deconstructions, multiple clarity and awareness. activates the deliberate gratitudes, reinforce daily learning, record where you are winning, process low energy emotions for release versus res- re- repression, offer a place to work through confusions, allows for planning and goal setting so executions improve, captures your life best examples, allows you to re-exemplify re-experience joyful times, elevate your creativity which when translate into productivity yield mastery. Let me get to the point of these gifts my assistant brought us. The billionaire continued during the reflections pocket of the 2020 formula. Another absolutely winning move is to write in a journal, and so I had these made for you by an Italian craftsperson. Hope they work wonder for you. The magnate looked down Via di Condotti Street. Cleaners were hard at work. Tourists were strolling along the avenue, taking selfies and buying trinkets from street vendors. The spellbinders loves hanging with me here in Roma. If we are lucky, we'll see him later this morning. I know he went running at daybreak along the river to Prati before heading off to fishing excursions at a place a few hours from here. Oh, by the way, formalized writing in a journal for at least a few of minutes between 5:20 to 5:20 and 5:40 am with them daily diaries. The key when you do this is just to write. Don't think too much. Simply download your commitments for the hours ahead. Record your precisely ambition and activates your gratitude by listening is what good in your life right now. Please also use your journals as a place to process through my frustrations, disappointments, and resentments in your heart so you let them go. It's a miraculous how you will release toxic emotions and low energy from your systems when you write down your suppressed hurts, freeing up maximize creativity, premium vitality, unmatchable performance, a super way to fireproof and fortify my headset. Right, said the entrepreneur. Yahoo! Applauded the billionaire who then placed a finger upon the learning model on the first page of his journal. Here are some of the rewards you will receive when you invest 10 or perhaps the entire 20 minutes of the pocket number 2 of your victor's victory hours in writing your daily diaries. And to repeat, so I reinforce, I suggest you don't write only the positive elements of your current life, but also those aspects of your experience that are causing discomfort and pain. Because the quickest way out of hard emotions is to have the wisdom and courage to go straight into them, feel them, heal them, name them to let go of them. Put a written voice to a dark energy of the life warden wardens to dissolve them. These are the breakthrough insights I am revealing to you to hear. Because once you reclaim the power blocked by the layers of toxic emotions and the wounds of the past, your mindset, heart set, health set, and soul sets will all soar exponentially. And when your four interiors empire escalates through your effortful self purifications, your supreme self begins to assume command. This then yield the external empires you both hope to see more of. What I am trying to explain is this: difficult feelings that you don't find a healthy way to remove because repressed, which creates stress, poor productivity, and even disease. Cool diagram. Acknowledge the artist. Are you saying that if I don't feel the uncomfortable feelings, they build up and get stuck inside me to the point where I could get sick? Yes, what you just and said is pretty much what I am suggesting. Mr. Riley confirmed. those stuck toxic emotions layer over your gifts, talents, and higher wisdom. This is one of the primary reasons most people on the planet have forgotten the heroes they are. When we avoid feelings, we lose access to our most powerful selves and forget and truths of life. That each of us can accomplish astonishing things and produce astonishing works and realizing radiant health. No true loves and lives a magical life and be helpful to many. I speak fact here, but most of us have so much fear, pain, anger, and sorrow built up over our real selves. We have no sense of the opportunity that sit right in front of us. All that dark energy blinds us from the seeing them and blocks our access to our primal genius. The great people of history had this access. Today, the majority have lost it. The magical life started the entrepreneur. You keep speaking of magic sounds a little far out, a little granola. Yes, magical life, responded the billionaire firmly but politely. I'll explain how you enter the magic available to all of us when we get to South Africa. Once you learn what I'll teach you in a vineyard there, your ability to manifest more money, better health, greater joyfulness, and deeper inner peace will grow dramatically. But I can't share anything about how to live in a magic yet. I'm not allowed to comment the billionaires mysteriously. You need to feel a wound to heal a hurt. The billionaire continued with precision. I have endured a lot of suffering in my life, business defeats, personal losses, physical failures. I am actually going through something right now that's creating sorrow in my heart. The billionaire raised higher spirited demeanor suddenly began to fade. For an instant he looked older, he hunched over and his breathing grew labored, but then he recovered. Anyhow, the good news, he said energetically as he raised both arms high into the Roman air, is that I am carrying much past pain in my wonderful present and into my fantastic future. I use the daily diary practice during the reflect pockets of the 2020 formula to move through the release it all. This skill alone is one of the reasons I am so full of wonder, gratefulness, and peacefulness most of time, and how I have been able to achieve so much. Living in the past steals so much energy for most people you know. This is a massive explanations for why most people are so unproductive. The spellbinders, the only person I ever met who made the link between poor performance and emotional turbulence. But think about it, it's a totally true. So imagine what doing your daily diaries each morning will do for your accomplishment and the success of your business, especially as you navigate what you are going through. The billionaire spoke with palpable empathy as he placed one lean arm around the entrepreneur and the other over the shoulders of her new boyfriend. And for your art, he added, turning to the artist. And carrying past pain is so exhausting. The artist agreed. We all get defeated and sometimes nearly devastated by life. The billionaire kept on with his discourse. I also encourage you to find at least a few moments during the second pocket between 5:20 and 5:40 am to meditate. The spellbinder taught me how to do so, and it has profoundly helped my concentration, my confidence, my performance, and the calm that I feel. While running the sophisticated business portfolio and calm performance are the highest achiever. There's nothing crackerjack about meditation, so get over any biases you might have around the skills and go ahead and lock it in. It's simply one of the world's best way to strengthen your focus, preserve your natural power, and insulate your inner peace. There's a lot of wonderful science confirming the value of regular meditations ritual. So even if you want to dismiss the method, the data says it works phenomenally as a human optimization habit. Current research proves that regular meditations helps lower level of cortisol, thus lowering your stress. It's also a strong way to grow the relationship you have with yourself. You need to make more time for you, to scale your fluency and intimacy with your higher nature, to reconnect with your best part, that side of you that understand the impossible is mostly the untried, and that knows of your hidden reservoirs of luminosity, audacity, and love. That portion of that still can see the greatness in others, even when they behave badly, and that models positivity in the world, even when such virtues are not replied to you. Yes, go into this 20 moments century of silence and stillness each morning and remember all you truly are. Truth speak in the solitude of the day's earliest light, and then carry this breathtaking knowledge with you through the remaining hours of the gift we call a day. The billionaire fell to the ground and did a series of rapid push-ups. Then plank pose followed. You are now very familiar with this quirky tycoon's bizarre maneuvers. I need to get on to the third pocket of the 2020 formula so we can warm up today mentoring sessions. I have been got a series of meetings set up for later, and then I am off to the splendid dinner with Adriano, the spellbinder, and a few others old friends. The billionaire said cheerfully. Sure, said the artist, no sweat. Of course, said the entrepreneur. We heard about the restaurant close at Campo di Fiori that makes great carbonara. We are trying it tonight. Yummy, acknowledged the billionaire, sounding more like a 5-year-old than a captain of commerce. He then continued his discussions on the morning routine of empire builders, super achievers, and the saviors of our civilization. Suddenly, the billionaire clutches his stomach, winking in pain. You okay, Mr. Riley? The entrepreneur asked as he rushed towards her mentor. Absolutely, he replied, pretending everything was fine. Let's keep moving. I'm totally committed to making sure you learn everything that was taught to me about the 5 a.m. club before I leave you. Please just make sure you share the spellbinder teachings with as many people as you can. You will be improving the world as you do. I might not be able to he said as his voice trailed off. Okay, the industrialist carried on. Let's keep going. Pocket 3 of the 2020 formula is designed to help you grow daily. Remember the 2 into 3x mindsets to double your income and impact, triple your investments in your two primary areas, your personal masteries and your professional capital. So 5:40 to 6 a.m., the final segment of the victory hours, is when you deepen your base of knowledge, increase your acumen, improve your expertise, and outlearn your competitions. Leonardo da Vinci said, one can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself, said the artist. I love you even more today, the entrepreneur said. Well, I adore you more every day, he replied with a grin. Oh, brother, laughed the billionaire. I am caught in love fast, right? Here, one of the Spanish steps. He closed his eyes and recited these words of Stoic philosophies by Seneca. The Roman statesman each day acquires some things that will fortify you against poverty, against death, indeed against other misfortunes as well as. After you have run over many thoughts, select one of to be thoroughly digested that day. The billionaire opened his eyes and stated simply, leaderships on the outside begins within. He added during the final pocket from the 540 to 6 in the 2020 formula, work on becoming more valuable to your industry as well as to society. See, you don't receive success and influence only because of what you want. You attract it into your life based on who you are. As a person, as a producers, private desires without personal development is like dreaming of having a gorgeous garden but not planting any seeds. We magnetize ourselves to excellent rewards by raising the value of ourselves. I made my fortunes from this idea. As I improved my capacity to improve the lives of more people, improved through the elevated quality of my service. As I made myself more knowledgeable, I became more valuable to the field in which I conducted my business, which lifted my income and my impact. Here's a concept fairly foreign in today is read a book, study the lives of the greatest men and women of the past by consuming their autobiographies during the Grow Pocket. Learn about the latest advancement in the psychology. Devour works on innovations and communications, productivity and leadership, prosperity and history, and watch documentaries on how the best do what they do and grew into who they are. Listen to audiobooks on a personal mastery, creativity, and business building. One of the trails all my billionaire friends and I have in common is we absolutely love to learn. We grow and capitalize on our gifts and talents relentlessly. We invest in expanding ourselves and our pro games constantly. We are all totally into reading, improving, and feeding our limitless curiosity. Fun for us is going to a conference together. We go to one, at least one every 3 months, so we stay inspired, excellent, and absolutely switched one. We don't spend much time on meaningless entertainment because we are just too invested in endless education. Life is very equitable, said the mogul, sounding quite philosophical and now looking much stronger. You will receive from it what you give to it. Key natural law there. So give a lot more by becoming a lot better. Okay? So now you have it. Mr. Riley summed up exuberantly a beautiful engineered, flawlessly calibrated morning routine for a world-class business and personal life. Embrace it fully, run it daily or at least 5 days a week. And your productivity, prosperity, sense of joy, and serenity will accelerate potentially along with the value you are able to deliver to our world. What's next? Inquired the artist. Will now go visit ahead was billionaire's only reply. Now at this point, chapter 13 has been ended. Please like the video and subscribe the channel for the future new content. Thank you.